Welcome back. This is Mr. Erlin. We're going to talk about writing triangle congruence statements. Triangle congruence statement is a way of conveying not just that the triangles are congruent, but also which corresponding parts of the triangles are congruent. So if we want to describe these two triangles as congruent, in previous discussions we've identified the necessary features to determine that they are congruent. In this case, we're going to recognize that we already know they're congruent, and we just are now going to state how they're congruent. Not the reason, but what relationship each corresponding part has through the use of a triangle congruence statement. I'll begin by describing this triangle. I'll call it triangle with a symbol out front, and then I can call it triangle ABC, or triangle ACB, or triangle BAC. The first one doesn't matter. The first one is completely free. It's the second one that is then highly dependent upon what I've already started with. I am making two triangles congruent, so it's not surprised that those two are aligned and appropriately matched. But now I'm going to look at A, point A. In my first triangle, I see that A is the only angle that's not marked as congruent. So I need to come over here and find the only angle that's not marked as congruent. So it's X. Those are the two pieces that match. B then is found by traveling along the side marked with one hash mark to the angle with one angle mark. So if I go from my starting point of X along the side marked with one hash mark to the angle with one angle mark, that tells me my next value. And of course C is the one with 2 marks, and so Z is the one with 2 marks. Please note, this is alphabetical. ABC is congruent to XYZ. It's not always like that. Here's an example that's not. So for example, I want to demonstrate that these two triangles are congruent. I can see that they're congruent by angle side angle. Therefore, I can create a triangle congruence statement. I'm going to go again with ABC. First one is free. Doesn't matter how I choose this orientation. But now it does matter. I'm going to say triangle ABC is congruent to some triangle. What's the orientation? Instead of XYZ, which would be natural, I have to recognize that A has 1 mark on it, and so does Z. Those are corresponding, therefore I make them align. First spot in the sentence. Then it goes to B, which is along the single mark on the congruent side. That matches with ZY, so I'm going to Y. And then C is the angle that's not marked as congruent. So I'm going to use the corresponding one, which is X. That is a triangle congruence statement written to align the components that are corresponding in congruent triangles. Thanks very much.